Guess who's back? Back again. Yes, according to reports, the compact disc is back in fashion, and the surge in sales is being driven by none other than Gen Z, or as some of you say I should call them because of being British, Gen Z. The beloved format that was taken from us too soon is now making a strong comeback among those aged 13 to 38, seeking connection to music in a world that enthusiastically traded in ownership for access and discovered that it, feels kind of hollow. I have put out 2 videos so far about why physical music still matters, and both of them have been met with a flood of comments promoting the superiority of the CD, so I thought that it's about time I pay tribute to the king of formats and understand what's driving their popularity among those born long after the CD's dominant era. And stick around to find out which country loves the CD so much it invented a special law to protect it. And if you enjoy this video, please consider subscribing. Let's get into it. The invention. The technology behind the disc was invented by James T. Russell, a physicist from Washington. Frustrated by the needle's damage to his LP records, Russell imagined a format that didn't need physical contact to work and figured light was the best way of transmitting the data. In 1965, he developed a method for optical digital recording and playback, encoding sound as microscopic patterns of light and dark. A laser could scan these binary patterns with a computer interpreting them into an electronic signal, which could then be converted back into audible sound. In 1979, engineering teams from Sony and Philips began developing an audio disc format to replace cassette tapes. The 2 companies pooled their knowledge but disagreed over the proposed size of the disc. Philips wanted to keep it roughly the same size as the cassette, whereas Sony advocated for a larger model with more playing time. Legend has it that none other than Beethoven settled the matter, as the wife of Sony's then vice president, Norio Ogha, wanted her favourite piece of music, the Ninth Symphony, to fit on a CD. The longest known performance of the Ninth lasted 74 minutes, requiring the larger 120mm diameter that we know and love today. Nice story, but according to a Philips engineer, the reality is that Philips had already built a CD disc plant in Germany using the smaller 115mm diameter. If Sony had agreed on the smaller version, then Philips would have had a competitive edge, and Sony couldn't allow that to happen. Still, there'd be plenty of money for everyone. Introduced to the market in 1982, CDs boomed, outselling LPs within 5 years and cassettes within 10. The high prices of the first CD players quickly lowered, going from over $2,000 to just under $350 within 2 years. Manufacturing plants in the US rapidly went from 2 to over 50, and competition between the plants lowered the production costs for the labels, who frantically reissued their entire back catalogues, and pricing them between $30 to $15, about $6 more than the equivalent LP. Record shops couldn't possibly carry all the new releases and reissues, and the bargain bin became a familiar sight for shoppers. And then the MP3 changed everything. Did they ever leave? Yes and no. It's obvious that the MP3, file sharing and streaming would all prove a massive blow to the format. In the year 2000, the peak, over 2 billion CDs were sold globally with $25 billion in revenue. In 2014, it was around 226 million units and $2 billion, a 90% drop, the music industry's lowest point. But the CD is not dead, far from it. In the US, in 2024, they accounted for $500 million in sales. The audiophiles among you know they basically can't be beat when it comes to sound quality. Most streaming services are extremely compressed, and even if you're listening to lossless files, Bluetooth headphones like AirPods can only handle so much data. Many people pointed out in my cassette video that there's a real shortage of quality tape mechanisms being made to this day, which can really affect the sound. But CD players have been getting better and better over the years because a dedicated fan base never stopped buying them. And that meant brands continued to invest in the tech. That's certainly the case in Japan, the second biggest music market globally after the US, and still very much in love with the format. In 2023, 39% of recorded revenues came from CDs, thanks in part to the government-mandated resale price maintenance system known as Saihan Seido. This allows the owners of certain copyrighted material, including books, records, and CDs, to set the minimum retail price, eliminating the race to the bottom discounting we see in the West. This meant the industry exercised a lot of power over the market and kept many of their musicians from signing up to streaming services. They also heavily promote their artists, also known as idols, through popular meet and greets at record shops where you have to buy a CD to enter. And superfans are one factor in the present-day CD micro-resurgence. Fans want to feel connected to their favourite artists, to support them, to proudly display their complete works on their shelf or wall, even if that means buying multiple versions of the same album. If Taylor Swift says it'll make her really happy if you buy all 9 special editions, you can be sure there'll be a lot of unhappy parents checking their credit card balance the next day. 9 is really a bit much, isn't it? The vinyl renaissance quickly became the industry's new golden goose, and it's most likely that the CD mini revival among Gen Z is in response to this cash grab. Brand new LP records can now be over £40 or dollars, $50 for a double, so a CD is much more affordable as an option, and you can play it in your car too, if you're lucky. In the UK, Coldplay's Moon Music was the best-selling CD of 2024, selling 204,000 copies, just beating Taylor Swift's Tortured Poets Department, 197. That's 401,000 copies between them. But giants like Taylor and Coldplay kind of skew the data. The real revival, one that's much harder to measure, is to be found in bargain bins, charity shops, and eBay. If you've only got a few pounds, there's a booming second-hand market, which is where a lot of people are hunting for bargains. For the youngest members of Gen Z, born 2012, a second-hand CD from 1983 carries this extra magic, a precious artefact acquired for the bargain price of £1.20 to be treasured, if not forever, then for as long as this fad lasts. Actually owning something, that's where the main source of joy is to be had. And we're seeing this with records, cassettes, books, and clothes. Online shopping is practical, but feels somewhat joyless. Endless digital choice is overwhelming, unemotional, and fragile too. Songs disappear all the time. Neil Young removed his whole catalogue from Spotify for a few years. And I tell you, a world without Neil is not a world I want to live in. People enjoy the process of discovery, of hunting and gathering, and the sense of community that being in a space with people with similar interests provides. And I bet those who held on to their collections can pick up a random CD and be hit with all these memories of when they first got it. And for DIY artists, CDs are a secret weapon. They're one of the best ways to support your favourite musicians. I've been selling them for years. They're very affordable to produce in small runs, which I can't say for vinyl, and you can really design something attractive and make it your own. They're also far easier to post without the extra special packaging that records require for a safe journey. I self-funded my album Super Sexy Heartbreak by selling CDs, 1,000 copies of a simply recorded acoustic songbook album that I sold directly through my website. That gave me the budget to produce my full studio debut. It also helped me predict the audience demand. Some people are earning a lot of money from streaming, but that's not the experience of most artists. My album has earned about £670 from 375,000 Spotify streams in the past 2 years. I'd need over 9 million streams just to break even, and another 9 million to earn minimum wage. 18 million just to get by, but I only needed 3,000 people to buy a CD to make a profitable record. Just one person ordering a CD from my website equals well over 8,000 streams on Spotify. Aside, there's only a few hundred left, by the way, if you fancied adding to your collection. Details in the description below. But yeah, Thank you so much for watching, as always. I would love to hear your thoughts. Is it a true revival, or is it just an overblown fad? Maybe you've come back to CDs in recent years, or maybe you never left. Maybe you have kids asking for them. Comment below and let me know. And as ever, I will be seeing you here again very soon.